Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey!
We're gonna start off with night 1 of Halloween Havoc. Obviously, we got night 2 still to come, but there was plenty to catch on the... Is that even still the gold brand? The yellowy, orangey brand? So, just to start off with, gonna jump into the bestest news ever, the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Your boy Tony and Stax didn't end up holding them for all too long.
No. It's incredibly likely that they were just a placeholder to eventually put him on Chase U. But, yeah. Chase U is our new tag team champions in NXT.
Yeah, I think the storyline that was with D'Angelo and Stax worked really well with them capturing the titles. Once they had them, that storyline sort of fell away a little bit. We didn't, the whole thing was, do we trust them, do we not? And then, Chase U instead, though, is getting those new facets and new pieces to the storyline as they've picked up a new student in the more heelish JC Jane.
Yeah, who's been trying to make a change to Thea Hill of late. Yeah, it was fun to see them try to get Andre to cheat. Andre wouldn't do it. But an incidental distraction was all it took for not a roll-up, a sunset flip.
It's close to a roll-up.
Yeah, they changed it up. You honestly don't see a sunset flip pin actually win a match that often.
No.
So I'll give them props for that one. It's just, while it is sad to see the family lose after getting the titles not too long ago, it's just, we've been on this train for so long that to see Chase U finally get their moment makes it more than worth it. Especially your boy Duke.
Yeah.
Who's had a very rocky road in the last 3 years.
Yeah, it has definitely been up and down. Obviously, Chase U losing a member just as they seem to be getting popularity, and then sort of being around in the doldrums. Duke Hudson's personal life as well. Thea Hale getting some shots at the women's title, sort of elevating the entire group. Now, some stuff with JC Jane. Will we see the team entirely turn heel? Will we see them, I guess, embrace the tactics of Jane? Are we going to see them, I guess, see her for what she is and boot her out of the university? We'll have to wait and see how they develop. But for now, we finally see gold around the waist of Chase U.
Yeah. And there is a possibility that they may add more gold. Because next week they get a non-title match against the NXT, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
No.
With Jane and Thea Hale. At least I'm assuming it's a non-title match.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but it's good to see that since we merged the NXT Women's Tag Team title and the WWE Women's Tag Team title, that they are at least visiting. This whole mess started because there was no title defenses down on NXT, and I really don't want that mess to start again. So pop in every now and then, maybe even let an NXT team win, every couple bit years, and roll on and keep rolling on. But staying in the women's division, it was quite a women's division heavy show. We're going to talk about the Lights Out match, Blair Davenport, Gigi Dolan. I'd been saying that Blair hadn't been getting a whole lot of storylines heading into this, and she still manages to come out on top by knocking Gigi Dolan's lights out.
Yeah, this was honestly, this was what it was expected. I don't think anybody in their right mind really would have picked. Blair is just on another level when it comes to the women in NXT that not named Becky Lynch. So it's fine. The match was alright, but it probably, honestly, it needed to, the wheel basically chose the same match for both matches, which is silly. I think I would have died laughing if the wheel had come up with something like a coffin match or a buried alive match, which were on the wheel, by the way.
Yeah, there was like no setup for it.
Yeah. But yeah, just lights out, and it is what it is. It was what was needed to be done. Davenport needed to maintain her momentum. And Gigi gets a little bit more of a shine on her, but let's go.
Yeah, do you think that Blair Davenport is in, I guess, a holding pattern for the NXT Women's Championship, just waiting for storylines with that to finish up before she goes after that one? Because you did say that she was on another level compared to the other woman, so surely that would put her on a collision course for the championship.
Yeah, it may have just been that they didn't want to do Blair versus Becky for any reason. Which, ultimately, ultimately what happened, it's like, I guess I can see it. But yeah, just...
Because when we talk about that NXT Women's Championship, we can skip on to the last match of the night, the main event, Becky Lynch eventually losing her NXT Women's Championship that she worked so hard to get, and Lyra Valkyria standing tall as your brand new champion.
Yeah. It was a really good match. Lyra was the person we were tipped. The second Becky won the title, that was the person we said, this is the person that needs to take it.
Mm.
And it just happened way faster than we thought it would.
Yeah.
That means that Becky's definitely going back up to the main roster to probably chase after Rhea now. But this entire run that Becky had, including a really good match with Indy on Monday, has reconfirmed my belief that WWE, I know the fans were clamoring for it, but they made WWE made a mistake when they created the tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been a mid-card title. And imagine Raw and SmackDown having a WWE Women's United States Championship and a WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, even if it's one traveling across the brands, I think this experiment has proven that having, an additional singles title, all it does is elevate the mid to lower card.
Yeah, it gives a chance for more storylines. And then you get a premium live events type thing. Wasn't a premium live event, but still type. With 5 women's matches. And most of them make sense.
Yeah.
So.
Trying to scroll up. Yeah, there was only 2 men's matches, one of which was the Chase U title win that the finish involved a couple of women being involved in. So it was quite a heavy woman's piece, and I think that really shows the depth of the NXT women's roster. We're building them up. A couple of those were breakout tournament matches, building them up. We showcased Jade as well. And, even more if you count backstage segments. It's looking good, the future of the WWE Women's Division, for sure.
Yeah. And that's what Becky did, was Becky elevated anybody she worked with in this short time frame, and has hopefully made them better for the long run. More people know who Lyra Valkyria are now than they would have 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. So I'm hopeful for the future for her title reign, and I expect an eventual showdown with Blair. I think that's an eventual destination. Where they go from there, after that, we don't know. They could do anything. But I'm excited for Lyra's run. And they checked off a box for Becky, and they gave us a good run. It was short, but it was good.
To be fair, last time we said the eventual showdown when referring to the NXT Women's title. We did get Lyra Becky 3 months ahead of schedule, so if we're saying the eventual climax of Lyra versus Blair, I expect it next week. We're going to get it kicked off.
Yeah.
But while we're talking about NXT, we've also got to talk about the NXT debut of Lexis King, formerly Brian Pillman Jr., coming on to the NXT brand and basically just kicking the HE double hockey sticks out of Dante Chen.
Yeah, it was a fairly standard match. It's exactly what you would expect. But Lexis King is definitely more polished going into NXT than somebody else that would have been coming in. So I'm excited to see what they do with him. I'm excited to see how he develops his own identity. I mean, you have Braun Breaker, who has created his own legacy. And completely separated himself from the Steiner. So I'm excited to see where this goes. It's clear they have a plan. Let's see how they execute it.
Yeah, I think, and this is coming from someone who's not, I don't love to sit around and poop on AEW, but I also know it has been a handful of segments in one match, but I'm already much preferring the presentation, much preferring the character direction, and pretty much the entire everything around Lexis King than I ever was with Brian Pillman Jr. over in AEW. Everything seems to be hitting right, the right amount of homage to his legacy, but also the right amount of just new character and new development.
Yeah, I mean, there were many, many, many people that said the 2 promos where they introduced his name and introduced his reasonings behind his name, the name change, did more for him in those 2 promos than he did in the entire time he was in AEW.
Yeah.
And I can't really say I don't see it. Brian Pillman, I was when I was watching, Pillman just felt more like a WWE guy. And that's not a bad thing. Some guys are just more suited to certain companies. And I think, as I said, I think this is going to be something phenomenal. And I think they could still make him a loose cannon in 2023 and still have some homages to his father while also just making him his own guy.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see what the future holds for Lexis King, but what the future holds for us is an entrance theme, and we're going to be going into that right about now. It will be none other than the NXT Tag Team Champions, Chase U. And you're back to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. SmackDown and Raw time. Talking about debut on NXT. Well, we got ourselves a return on SmackDown as Bianca Belair is making her case known.
Yeah, Bianca returned. It's what it is. I'm not sure what the direction is for Bianca right now. I would love to see her join the Hurt Business. I really think she needs to go heel as badly as her husband did. At this point, she's done everything she can as the face of the women's division. So I feel like she needs to do something. She's in the spot Bayley was in when Bayley turned. It's just a question of where exactly are they going to go with it? What direction are they going with her? I'm going to be honest. I have a feeling that they brought her back to be part of some sort of 5-on-5 match at Survivor Series, whether that's in the cages or not, I have a feeling that she's going to be part of a face team. When I think she needs something different, she needs something new.
Yeah, I think we've been clamoring for probably about 6 months now for Bianca Belair to get a bit of a change in attitude and to change it up. The framework is clearly there with Montez being in with the Hurt Business. It works well. Maybe a 5-on-5 match could be the catalyst. We've seen a few alignment switches during those, thinking War Games-wise, Dakota Kai attacking Tegan Nox in the cage. We've seen it post-match. We've seen it during the match in the cages, in the little shark cage outside. Maybe this could be Bianca Belair's turn to change things up. But you did mention... Oh, you go?
I just said who knows.
But you did mention the Hurt Business. They are continuing their feud with the LWO. Everybody beat up on Carlito. Montez Ford wins a match, and then Carlito and everybody else comes out to save Escobar. Pretty bog standard stuff.
Yeah, I'm still not sure exactly what they're doing here, because I would have thought this would have led to a U.S. title match with for Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because that seems like that would be a direct path to it. You take out his buddies, and Ray will get fed up and defend the title against your guy. But then we got Logan Paul, and everything changed.
Yeah, it pretty much sets up, locks in Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio in a couple of weeks for that United States title. And I don't know, I think you're right. I think it almost continues the divide a little bit. Rey Mysterio might be a part of the LWO, but, Carlito and Santos are doing a lot more for it than Rey ever is. He's not super around. He cares a little bit about the people inside it, but I don't know. It feels more fracture-y. And maybe Rey Mysterio, after his United States title match, is a little too hurt to help out the LWO, who then is on the downside of a beatdown from the Hurt Business. I don't know. But they do have two separate feuds going, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they were pointing it out on commentary. Where's Ray? Why isn't he here to support Escobar? I think it is a matter of time before Escobar starts questioning Mysterio's loyalty to LWO.
I think it's also very easy to point out that Escobar's best work is when he was a heel. Legado del Fantasma's best work is when they were a heel. Carlito's best work is when he was a heel. And then you got Ray floating around, the biggest white meat babyface around.
Yeah, I mean, in his entire history in WWE, he has never been heel. Ray has been a face the entire time he's worked WWE. And if you want to take a year, the slice of the year where it was just WCW was just absolutely doing everything wrong that you possibly could do wrong, he never worked heel. Except in that 1 year when they stuck him in the Filthy Animals faction. And he still wasn't that heelish. But yeah, I mean, Ray is at the point where it's almost like Cena. Where you want to see something different, but at the same time you want to respect him.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see what Ray could do as a heel, but I think honestly, at this point in his career, he's better off turning people heel. Just look at what happened with Dom.
Yeah.
So I think I want to see Ray versus Escobar, even if it's not for the title. I want to see that happen with Escobar just saying, I respected you, but you didn't respect me. You didn't help me. You didn't back me up. You weren't there when I needed you.
Yeah, there is a number of angles where the LWO can go from here. but it just feels like Ray's days in the LWO are numbered. That's the writing on the wall for me, at least, and I don't even know if he'll make it out the year. We'll have to see.
I think it could happen as soon as 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a very strong possibility that event did not be named, that Escobar costs him the championship, and Logan Paul walks out as the United States champion.
I was going to ask your opinion on who was going to come out with the championship, but I know that we will definitely be talking about that next week when we look at the random series of high-profile matches that are booked for that weekend. And so there's a lot of stuff that we'll be talking about next week for sure. And just to throw in as well, just because we know it is the big storyline right now, the Judgment Day, the Bloodline, the Cody Rhodeses, the John Cenases, the Everywhere and Everything. At least on SmackDown, John Cena and Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso looks to be the build on that side of things.
Yeah. Not much I can say. Everything is kind of intertwined together. And honestly, has there ever been a woman with more importance to a show than Rhea Ripley is right now? The entire show wraps around her. Whether it's her dealing with the Judgment Day and what they do, or her trying to defend her championship against 4 other women, or trying to recruit various men to her group, or making it look like she is spreading influence over certain men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is basically Raw it hasn't been Monday Night Raw. It's Monday Night Rhea.
Yeah, she's definitely the focal point. I think, as Cody Rhodes pointed out, she's the true leader of the Judgment Day. Has been for a long time, even if you don't want to put a leader moniker on it. She is the linchpin. You know, if somebody annoyed her, they're out. If somebody wants to get in, they better be talking to her. And I think that's showing more and more and more as the weeks go on. Interested, obviously, to see what happens with her in the Fatal 5-Way match coming up in a couple weeks. Damian Priest's got himself a singles match with Cody Rhodes also in a couple weeks. So the Judgment Day is slowly booking out their weekend.
I just want to take you back a couple years ago when she was Raw champion. And it was like, yeah, she was champion, but so?
Mm-hmm.
This one, while the matches have been, well, she's a champion, but so? Her importance in the overall storyline has made it like, well, it doesn't matter. She's still important. Mm-hmm. She's a star.
Yeah, and I think, just while I was listing Judgment Day storylines, obviously, Dominic Mysterio also busy intertwining himself with Logan Paul, going after his father's championship and Ricochet and all of those bits and bobs as well. So, can't forget even more storylines for the Judgment Day and for Rhea Ripley to be poking her nose into.
I still want Logan Paul and Dominic Mysterio to be a tag team.
Yeah.
I think that would be the most hated tag team of all time. And I don't even think it would be close. You have a man who cannot speak on a microphone because he gets drowned out by the fans. Legitimately. It's not pipe noise, fans, folks. And then you have a man that people just despise and want nothing to do with in Paul.
Hmm.
I mean, that would be like the fusion of a devil and a demon and getting like a super god or something. It's crazy. And it's like, the more I see them together, the more I was like, I want that. I want that as a team. I want that to be the big bad of the tag team division. Because I think they could do some phenomenal stuff. And you could still have them doing single stuff. So you could have, like, them becoming world champions or something. And it makes sense because of the positioning of them. And just, it's of who they are.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. But I also know we have about 30 seconds left, and one last thing I wanted to mention before we run out of time this week. Akira Tozawa, get hyped.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about it. Even if it's not going to last, I'm just happy they're doing something with Tozawa.
Yep. Alrighty, well, that is all we got time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRNDup, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRNDup, or our YouTube page, youtube.com/WrestlingRNDup. And we will see you next week.